G'day guys. Had a lot of stuff delivered today. I thought I'd go through it because some of it's interesting. It's not very expensive, and I've got a big tub of stuff here. I'll go through it because some of it's really interesting because it's really cheap. Um, there's a mix of stuff here. Some of the stuff was from Temu. Some of it was from Aliexpress. Some of it was from another different Chinese company. I got some circuit boards made. Or actually, I designed some circuit boards and I got them made. They just came by FedEx. So, but first of all, this I'll get onto the circuit board soon. But this one's really interesting. This one I thought was absolutely worth its weight in gold. This they call it the sample book. And what's it full of? It's a book of just about every value resistor of a particular size. So this one is full of 0402. Starts off at 0 ohms, and as you can see, it's just pages and pages. They go, even just going from first page, we're only up to 3 ohms. Then onwards and onwards and onwards and onwards. Oh, dear me, there's so many. So even here, we're only up to 9.1 ohms, and there's pages and pages to go. So at the end there, what do we got? It goes up to 10 meg ohms. And these are all, well, it says plus or minus 1%. So yeah, they're all 1%. That wasn't even expensive. And for doing R&D work and just small design work and stuff, these are really, really good. AliExpress for that. And they got it in every resistor size. They've also got capacitors. So you can have a complete design lab just using these books. I need a particular value resistor to put on the board to try that, or some adjustment. You got these books. The next thing I got a project on the go at the moment, and we need some charging boards, and these are USB-C input, which is really good. These have charge controller and current limiting all on the board, so you can't over discharge your battery, or well, it's got discharge protection, but you can't pull so much current that you're going to cause the battery to explode. You know what lithium batteries are like. And yeah, so it's got the series current limiter. It's got a control IC, current sensing. It's even got two little LEDs on there, a red and a green one for charging and charged. And yeah, put your battery on, use it on your device. It's in and out, and you charge. And yeah, I've got a few of those because I'm building up a batch of 50 of these new boards for detectors, and this goes external to the detector. So this stuff is not expensive. Yeah, cheap. Well, I'll just tell you, if you ever want charger boards, that's where you get them from. Some op amps. These are just generic quads, and nothing fancy. Just generic. As long as it's a quad, it'll work. And yeah, oh god, what were they? 20 cents each, and it's a couple of hundred there. Yeah, I have pulled them out and tested them. They're fine. The other thing I thought was good too, these are about $4, and it's a little bench vise, and you put it on your bench, screw it up, and yeah, tighten her up like so. I think $4 or something like that, $4.35, whatever it was. I think that was Temu, this thing, and all this stuff got sent free postage. So I don't know how they do that. I mean, Australia Post here must cringe delivering all the Chinese stuff for nothing. But that's what happens. They've got all these agreements between countries on postal services. If we sent something to China, oh my God, we'd have to pay for it. But the Chinese sent it here. It's nothing. So it's not really fair, but it gives the Chinese a job. Well, many jobs and many little industries. So yeah, so that's a good little advice. I thought I'd get something like that to when I'm working on some stuff and it's flying all over the bench. I'm trying to hit it with a soldering iron. Well, that'll hold it in place. So cheap. The other thing, I keep running out. I was using my digital calipers, and I keep running out of batteries. These little watch batteries, or button cells, we'll call them. Not watch batteries, I suppose. Some of them go in watches. Um, all that, it's a couple of bucks. So I don't know how good they are, but we're going to find out. T&E, the brand, but yeah, it's cheap. It's so cheap. If you went into, um, somewhere like a supermarket or whatever to buy those batteries, it's good. It'd be $4 or $5 per battery. Here, it's a couple of bucks and you get all that. So we'll see how we go. That was Temu as well. You can tell it's been very well squashed into the packet. Okay, we'll keep going. These are on Aliexpress. These are diamond. Well, are they really diamond? Oh, they could be. Grinding tools for the Dremel. Lots of different sorts. These are cheap as well. I think the whole lot. What is it? Like $4 or $5. You know, heaps of them, all different shapes, sizes. We'll see how they go. I have had them out of other kits, like little Dremel, like this one I got. And while I've grabbed this, I'll show you something funny about it. I'll bet I have to undo it, but I'll make sure I've got it tight so I can undo it. There we go, it is tight. Okay, this is quite funny because every time I got one of these Dremel-y type, it's not a Dremel, whatever it is, one of these things, it always had that end on it, well, in the kit, that particular end. And I'm thinking to myself, what the hell do you use that for? It's a reverse thread. And would you believe I finally nutted it out? I've never used these before. These are polishing discs. It's some sort of felt. And I didn't realise it. You just screw it on. So yeah, you just push it in the middle and you got to hold that down. And no joke, sometimes I think I'm smart, sometimes I think I'm bloody stupid, because fancy not realising that is how you use that. So, and you can, polish things. I just didn't realise that that end bit there was for that. I always looked at it and I thought, what the hell would you use that for? Very strange. But yeah, I finally, it took me about, I don't know, 15 years, and I clicked. I said, "Oh God, it's for those polishing pads that I never use." So now I know. I think that's funny. So yeah. Anyway, we got these bits. So we got a lot of stuff in today. Another thing I keep running out of is I got a little set of these are really tiny little drills. I don't know if you can actually see the drill bits there. In the reflection, it's reflecting there, and you got stoppers on them. These are used. I used to do a bit of PCB work years ago. We used to use drills very similar to this, and on a automated drilling machine. Bang, 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 like so. And that's in the days, God, 1980s. So yeah, used to use these, and I've only got a couple left, so I bought them, a couple of bucks as well. Yeah, you got to run these at very high speed. Like this. You can do it by hand in one of these. This thing goes really fast, so it. If you do it slow, they break. They just grab and because they're so thin, they snap. You got to run them about 30,000 RPM, these little tiny drills. You can actually use these for drilling out circuit boards if you have to. If you've got a multi-layer via that you want to get out, or multi-layer through plate or something, these are small enough that you can drill through it without damaging the sides. You've got to be careful. So that's another thing that came. That they were not expensive. It's when you go and buy this stuff here, you go, my God, why is it so expensive? And you get it from China through these outlets. Like I tell you, even Aliexpress, you can look at Aliexpress and think, oh wow, that's cheap. But then if you go on Alibaba itself and get to the main distributors for some of the companies, because it's very hard to deal with the companies themselves. They like having all these distributor setups. Sometimes I have had luck dealing with the company direct, because what I do is I request something a little bit different that they will have to make, and of course they want the income, so they make it. You deal with the company, and it's a hell of a lot cheaper. Anyway, little bit of a trade secret. The other thing I got as well, I got a big packet of lithium batteries. Now, there's a lot of things out there use these, and I thought these were cheap as well. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, maybe they're a bit bodgy, but I did check them. They're fine. There's nothing wrong with these whatsoever. These 3.7 volts, give or take, 4.2, 3.5, thereabouts, depending on their state of charge. But these are 1 amp hour batteries. Cheap. You can't buy these here, and if you did, you'd be paying. God, I don't know what you pay for these. $10 each or something. $1.50 or something like that. Cheap. You got to hunt around to find them, because a lot of the resellers want to, gouge a bit on those sites. But if you hunt around, and what I found this, and I'll tell you a little secret about AliExpress, and they'll probably stop it after I tell you how you do it, right? Anyway, big stack of lithium batteries. Don't squash them or step on them. When you go on AliExpress, what you do is you buy. Say you see something you really want a lot of. Okay, say you want 50 or 100 or whatever. Okay, what you do, get in there in your account, buy something, buy a minimum. A lot of stuff is if it's over $15, you get free postage, and that's worth it, really, a lot of stuff. So what I do, I get on there, and I'll buy the minimum. I'll say I'll buy 5 of something, whatever it may be, and I'll buy 2 of this, 5 of that, 4 of this, whatever it may be, and I guarantee you, the next day you get this email like a flyer, and you click on the link it's from AliExpress. Click on the link, and what do you think? It's got the stuff you've bought, but a lot of it's in quantity, and it's about half price of what you paid. Right? I don't know why this happens. Maybe they think, well, he only bought this much, and maybe there was that much margin in it, or something, and they discount the price to entice you to buy more. So I don't know. I've had that happen. I can get something like 40-50% discounts, or price reductions, and you go back in. Like, I bought some cables, fitted cables, and they were quite expensive. I thought they were something like $10 each or something, and I bought 5. And next day I got inundated with this email, and it had all these links to all these other ones, and they were $6, $7, $8, that sort of price range. And it's just amazing, because they weren't there before. I went right over, and they just turned up the next day. So I went shopping. Oh, dear me. So yeah, Arduino boards, for doing. Well, that's what we did, that experimental driver board, when I was using an SD2000, and then we took over all the control functions, wrote our own code using Arduino. So we could we could actually make our own SD2000 out of one of these. I'm not joking. Just need to, beef up, the things that drives a decent MOSFET and put a low noise receiver on it. There you go. It's the basis of a metal detector there. So another Arduino. I've got some things on the go, so I'm going to play around with that. That wasn't it. That was something like $4.50. I mean, well, what? It was cheap. It's cheap. Here, another thing. This, I think they got this off Temu. Okay, what this is, right? It's one of those temperature reading guns, and I had to buy another one because um, I had one of these, a blue one, and the missus left it on the stove on the hot plate, right? And forgot the stove was on. What's that burning smell? So we had one of these melted all over in like it's a glass top thing, so it had all molten plastic over it. It wasn't too much of a drama, except it looks on one side, looks a bit like Freddy Krueger's face. It got burnt. So, we, yeah, I bought another one. This is cheap as, and I tell you what, I thought, oh, this will be inaccurate. This is going to be like super inaccurate. No, it's actually accurate as. I'm really surprised. But yeah, it runs on a couple of AAA batteries. And oh god, I don't know what the price was. I can't remember. It was just a little bit north of $10, I think. It may not have been that, but yeah, if you just put that little red dot, and I'll show you. This is typical. I'll shoot the wall over there. There you go. Even though I've got the heater on, it's 16 degrees Celsius, and if I hit that, it'll say 61.7 Fahrenheit. So it's not very warm here, even though I've got the heater going. It's outside. It's probably about 2 degrees or 1 degree Celsius. Yeah, so it's a interesting little gadget. It's got multiple functions on the back too. So you can turn the laser on and off, and so all you do is pull the button, let go, bang, and it just takes a measurement. So laser on, boop, beeps. So yeah, handy little gadget. Well, another one anyway. It's actually good for when you're trying to find. Well, if you're using your hands on a circuit board and you feel little hot spots, you're getting close with the sensor here, and you can find exactly where it is. You just sort of make a north, south, east, west movement, just doing temperature readings, and you can get onto a component that could be in a nest of components getting hot. And then to find that, well, what you need your temperature probe. Okay, I haven't used this yet, but I've got a stack of these temperature probes, and the meter I was using died. It went to God, and so I bought another meter with temperature settings on it, and this is it here. It's a bit of fluff on the front of it. I'll get that off. But I bought this. Now, no joke. This thing here, that was on Temu as well, wasn't Aliexpress, and it was $10. $10 meter. I always say about using a $10 meter. I had a look at the specs on this thing, and I said, well, we'll have a look. What does it do? It does transistor HFE. So you got your little things you can stick transistors in there. It goes up to 600 volts. Would you trust it on 600 volts? It does. It's got ACs up to 600 volts, and does DC up to 600 volts as well. Okay, 600 volts, people. Wow. I hope they test their leads. Not that I'm going to stick it on 600 volts. I'll stick this on 12 volts or something, 5 volts, whatever. But what I actually got this for was for the temperature reader. So it's got a little, dual metal element, nichrome type thing. Have a look at it anyway. I haven't opened it, this one. So yeah, Right, I've checked the meter out. I thought, oh god, here we go. It's going to be inaccurate as hell. And I've got some voltage standards, and I've got some 0.001% resistors, and it's well within tolerance. So yeah, you got a little temperature sensor there, so you can. I don't know if you can even see that, can you? Yeah, well, like that you can. It's a little temperature sensor. Dime a dozen these things, but yeah, it's got some good connectors on it. So it connects in. A lot of these have their own connectors, different like flats. They go on meters flat. So this one here, I might as well plug it in and see if it works. Should do. So oh yeah, it just works. Bet you it's a damn tight fit. It is too. It's a really good tight fit on these. Okay, I don't even know where the temperature sensing. There it is, around there. This meter also has a backlight. So backlight on, backlight. You have to turn it off. If you push the backlight on, it stays on, doesn't go away. You have to turn it to the off position, then the backlight goes away. I'm on diode test range. It's detecting the end of that. So we want to go back onto Celsius. Yeah. So yeah, it reads fairly good. I'm right. The heater's blowing at me, so as it I'll put it down towards the heater, it'll start crawling up in temperature. Yeah. So I thought that was yeah. Put the backlight on, looks better. But $10, my God, runs on a 9-volt battery. Resistance wise, well, the reason I want a meter like this is because it has got pull the wire out. Stupid me. Don't worry, these come apart. I can stick it back on. Yeah. Well, I don't think it was soldered on very well. Anyway, or I yanked it too hard. One or the other. But that's an easy fix. No big deal. And yeah, these are all hermetically sealed up like that, so I'm not going to do that with these. These won't wrench, especially if I'm measuring 600 volts. Not that I'm going to do that. Oh dear me. You got to be careful with these things. But what I like about these little meters, even though they're cheap, when you're working on stuff like and you're looking for short circuits or you're looking for continuity or whatever, beep. So it's got a nice loud beep. Good. I'm acting like a salesman for stuff on Temu and Alibaba, aren't I? But that's where everything comes from China anyway. And why pay the middleman here? He's going to probably hit you maybe $30 for that when you can get it for 10 and free postage. So yeah, so it's got a thing there. It's got a rubbery case. It is rubbery. It's not just hard plastic. And yeah, it does up to 10 amps as well. So yeah. I'm just having a look at all this. I haven't actually read the manual or anything which came with this. So yeah, it will do 200 ohms all the way up to 2 megs on the ranges. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ranges. It'll do 200 millivolts, 200 millivolts, 2 volt, 20 volt, 200, and 600, and it will do on the amperage 2 milliamps, 20 milliamps, 200 milliamps, and then it jumps to 10 amps. Yeah, so you got HFE, temperature, and yeah. And like I say, $10. It's a nice looking meter, so it's pretty good. Now the other thing too, I've been using some new software. Well, I haven't been. Well, it is new software. I actually ordered these after I designed them up. There's some online software I was using, Easy EDA, and this is after Altium were trying to sell me their software. I think it was $15,998. So I have got some software. I had had issues with some old software I've got. I mean, I've got software going back to 1985. I used to use their stuff all the time, and I've got newer stuff as well. But they want to go to an online model. You can buy it outright, and that it's just expensive. And I don't need all the features. I don't need everything. I just do if I can get one of these boards out, I'm going to show you these. Come out. I didn't make a hole there, so I can get one out. So yeah, I Butterfingers. I did design these little. Well, the funny thing is, I did design these boards up. If you can see that, that's the back of it. Got a nice ground plane on it. And I did this board here using online, in a half online, half local storage mode of a program called Easy EDA. And this is a funny thing. It's free, right? Now, I'm going to have to explain a little bit about Easy EDA. It's like KiCad, which is another software program which is free. But I was trying to muck around with KiCad. There's parts of it I just don't like. If you're an RF designer and you're designing a board for radio frequency use, you would not use KiCad in a million years. Oh dear me, I won't go into it, but I gave it a go. And anyway, I got onto Easy EDA, and yeah, it is good. It takes a little bit of getting used to the way you have to label nets and things uh, to use it, but yeah, it's not very intuitive. It's sort of some parts of it are dumb, but it's a work in progress. The guys who came up with it, uh, like updating. I've had about 3 updates on it so far. So far so good, and yeah, that's the board it designed. It does you do schematic, um, do your schematic, and just drag it into a PCB layout. Get a little box there. It's all got all the little net wires and that on all the component legs where you've done your schematic. Drag it all around, make it nice. It's got an auto router in it too. There's a lot to be said about auto routers too, which that's automatically placing the tracks on the pin of one component going to resistors, capacitors, or in, out, whatever it goes to. And yeah, some of those are I don't know. Some of them are designed by Satan, I think, but some are good. The Altium one's really good, but I don't want to go pay 16 grand for it. And yeah, it does the job, and just go do a little bit of a cleanup. And yeah, I was impressed. I was impressed. So normally, what I do, I do my wiring manually. I just get on the leg with the net wire going to wherever, and I know where it goes. It shows you, so you just make a track and get there. And yeah, that's usually what I do. Is I use the auto router first, so it just joins everything up. Then you just go and delete tracks and say that looks stupid, and then redo it so it looks neat and tidy. And that's basically how I've done these little boards. And the thing is, too, when I was doing it on the computer, I didn't realise they're going to be that small. So, yeah, um, that was very interesting. So, yeah, the boards come up really good. Now, when you do use this Easy EDA, it has a facility there that you can pick your parts from from one of the companies they use, their parts libraries. And when you use their parts, they know what you're putting on the board, and then they can also build it for you. So you have this uh, thing it's actually on the software, and you hit a button. You say basically, here's my board, quote me, and then you got a menu, and it goes into all sorts of things. How you want your board, and yeah, I did 50 boards, and I think the most expensive part was the FedEx. I think the FedEx charge was something like, I don't know, $28 Australian, which is not much really. And the boards cost me $7. That's not each. That's for 50 of them. $7 for 50 boards. So there's my prototypes. And because normally you just get 5 boards or so made, it's so damn cheap. I said, well, I get 50. They'll work anyway because I know they'll work, and that's 50 real units. So the prototypes are probably the end product. And they've got all the details there. And if I want 500 boards or 1,000 boards, I'll just go click, 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 and it just doesn't cost much. So I thought that was really good. And if you want to, when you get your board designed, they will load it for you. They'll actually go and run it through a pick and place machine, load your board with the parts that you specified, and they'll quote you on the price of doing that. So, you know, all the women around the place who used to sit at big long benches, which I used to look after years ago, sit there soldering on solder, 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 solder. Now you just do your board, bang, bang, bang. It's all done over in China, and FedEx drops it off on your doorstep. Yeah, really, really cheap. And it's really funny when you think about that process, because sitting in a factory, I've got a huge REM oven, which it's huge. Uh, yeah, it's about 50 feet long, nitrogen filled, which you can run circuit boards through for doing the final soldering. Huge. And we've got Siemens pick and place machines, that'll do 2 lanes, 20,000 parts per hour. We've got stencil printers, paste machines. We've got a whole production line if we wanted to make anything. And it's just sitting there wrapped up in cling wrap at the moment, because you think about it. We'll make circuit boards. We'll do this in mass production, and you got all the equipment to do it. But to run a production line like that in Australia costs you a fortune. Even you use nitrogen gas in your oven, so things don't oxidize, and it's all nice and good. It's full military spec actually, and I've got now. Well, I don't want to really talk about it too much because there's a lot of money, a hell of a lot of money. But yeah, it's all there. We got vacuum formers. We can do. We could vacuum form 50-inch coils if we want, but we're not. I have done a lot of coils on it. Those black ones I had in other videos. We vacuum formed all those, and some white ones we did. But the thing is, you can't beat the Chinese. You just cannot beat them. They're just too cheap. To run a production line here, with the cost of electricity, the cost of labour, it'd be 4 times the price. So, yeah, you can have the best equipment in the world. It can sit there gathering dust, and you can just go click, 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 and these boards will turn up. Normally, I was using another company to make all my circuit boards, but this it's integrated into the software. And the only thing you've got to be wary of, and I will say this, even though people probably don't think it's very obvious, that when you're doing board designs, it's online, and the servers are in China. And a logical guess or a logical assumption would be that if you're doing boards and they're being stored on a server in China, someone's probably looking at your schematics and looking at your board designs. So if you're doing subcontract work for the military, Department of Defense, DARPA or something, I would not be using online software. Actually, what you need to do, if you want your stuff to be totally secure, you do it on a computer that's not connected to the internet in any way, shape or form. You pull the Bluetooth modules out of it, you pull the Wi-Fi out of it, and to a point, you really want to lock up the the USB ports on it too, so people can't. This is if you've got a lot of people coming through, it's in a factory work environment. Lock up your USB ports. It's so easy to just get a USB stick and stick it in there and either rip all your information out or drop a nasty payload in there. So when I used to do particular work, we had to have our computers completely offline. There was just no way to talk to it as such while you're doing work. Then you'd have to stick it on an SD, USB, or back in those days I think we used SD cards, but or similar. But yeah, you've got to be careful. So it's free, and I would only do a certain amount of. I wouldn't go and do like a very complex commercial product online on a Chinese server. What's going to happen? You basically say, here, check my stuff out, But some of the stuff like what I would do on that, it may be novel, but it's nothing they're going to go and say, oh, beauty, we're going to go make millions of these, because it's not the market. I'm not going to do it. So I don't care. But it's just one thing to be wary of. And yeah. Anyway, how's that for it going around the mulberry bush? Started off on doing a thing on these things from Aliexpress and Temu, and starting to go onto software. But hey, that's the nature of the beast. One subject leads to another, and that's exactly what it is. I don't think I bought anything else. Well, I have, but it's probably not very interesting. Yeah. No. I think I have bought lots of stuff. I think I've shown it before. But yeah, apart from that, we've been very, very busy doing detectors, because here it's 10:30 in the evening, and yeah, I just sort of got off the bench then. As you can see, if I move that over there, if I turn that around, there is a detector getting it done on the bench, and on the shelf on the other side, I've got him up there waiting for me. So it's been a busy day, as every day is busy. So yeah, that'll do us. That's enough. I usually do these videos sort of, if I do one at the end of the day, it's like a wind down from doing other stuff. I just do it as a wind down. But I said, oh, you might be interested in this. If you're not interested, just click, go on, see ya, go somewhere else, go look at some other videos. But yeah, anyway, I think I've wound down. It's a long day, and yeah, I've still got tons to do, but I'm getting out of here. Catches.